Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Anime King 3, and today I'm going to be giving you part 11 of What If Naruto Had the 6th Eye Sharingan. Remember to get this one to 100 likes as usual, share this to all of your friends in your social media platform, and also guys, go ahead and check out the brand new episode of What If Naruto Had All the Chakra of Indra, Ashura, and Hagoromo over on Anime King 2 guys. And stay tuned for the remaining series coming your way over on Anime King and Anime Prince. Yes, that's right, I indeed have 4 channels which I post what if fun every single day for you guys to enjoy. So go ahead, smash that red subscribe button and become a part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all of your help and support. And yeah, without further ado or wasting more time, what do you say we jump right into this brand new episode? Begin now guys. So, the last part that we left off. The preliminaries had came to an end, with Naruto winning his match. So did Mito and Sasuke as well, as they came out on top. With them winning their match, Naruto and Sasuke were taken to another room. There were 4 members of the sealing corps of Konoha was there, along with Kakashi sealing away the cursed mark of Sasuke. As Hiruzen had made sure the other members were there just in case, seeing that Naruto mark was different from Sasuke's. So when the process began, as Naruto mark was in the process of being sealed away, something strange happened, something abnormal. The members stepped back in shock when he realized that Naruto's body was reacting negatively to the sealing. As his eyes widened before, a ray of chakra exploded out of Naruto. The blast was violent as it blew him away. Kakashi had to jump up and caught him before he slammed into the wall. Once Naruto passed out, Hiruzen made his way towards him, shocked by what just happened as none of this made any sense. He would have to call in for an expert to find out what is going on. Some time later, Naruto woke up, as he was in a hospital room. Confused what was going on, his mind slowly recalled the information of what happened with the curse mark. With that said and done, Naruto got up only for Mito to enter his room. As she's been waiting on to wake up, she informed about what happened since everything happened. As Naruto and her made their way. Now freed from the hospital, Naruto went to visit Sasuke, as Sasuke was still unconscious from the sealing process. A few days passed after that as Jiraiya of the Sannin had came to the village. Hiruzen had spoken to Jiraiya about the affair with Naruto. Mito also met him as well as he wanted to take her on as a student after the little run-in, as she told Naruto everything that happened. Naruto was surprised to hear that, as he was all for her going to train with the Sannin. She would grow immensely, as she knew. She asked about him, seeing that Kakashi was working on Sasuke. However, Naruto said that he had a few things that he wanted to work on by himself. Seeing that his eyes were different than even the normal Sharingan, he believed that he had to be the one to sort these things out. With that said and done, Naruto made his way toward the secret location. The location where the astral form of Ichigo, the one that was said to possess these eyes first, were. As Naruto wanted to speak to the man about something, he believed that Naruto saw the negativity of the eyes that he wielded, and was here to ask him to permanently stop using them. However, Naruto had noticed something in his stories. Some things did not make sense, as Ichigo revealed that yes, the story that he told him was not his but similar. As Naruto asked him why did he lie to him, but he kept on bringing up riddles and all that crap that angered Naruto. Naruto got so angry that his eyes started to fluctuate, causing a rift in the spatial era that they were in. Even Ichigo seemed confused as Naruto was sucked inside. What followed was an experience that Naruto could not to this day understand. As he stepped inside the spatial rift, Naruto came across what seems like the embodiment of chakra, An overwhelming source of power washed over him. It was so potent, so great, as his whole body was swallowed by the power, as Naruto saw things that he never thought was even possible. His mind trying hard to comprehend and understand what it was, as he went through different levels of seeing power, but at the very top Naruto witnessed something that overloaded his system as he was blasted through. Ichigo asked him what just happened, as Naruto's mind could not really focus as he realized that he was back in the real world before speaking to Ichigo. Confused by that, Naruto decided to just relax, as he decided to get his mind straight. He saw several different eyes, including Sharingan's Mangekyo, and different eyes that seemed to be out of this world. He's never seen dojutsu like that before. A few days passed after that, as Naruto was by himself. He muttered one word, ignite, as blue flames overtook the tree in front of him. However, the flames were not burning the tree. Naruto was confused by that. He was not sure what was their purpose, as once he was in that state of enlightenment, it seems, Naruto was able to conjure these flames in his mind, and now he was able to bring them to reality. But the flames were not burning anything, so he was confused what was their purpose. Deciding to leave them for the time being, Naruto decided to go back to training. That was until he was making his way with Mito, walking her home, as she was telling him all about the stuff that Jiraiya was starting to teach her. She was going to be really busy for the month, so she would meet to spend time with him. As she hugged him goodbye, as Naruto chuckled, saying that it wouldn't be that long. But still, she hasn't been away from him for that long, and Sasuke was gone as well. She told him to get strong because when she get there, she was going to whoop his ass, making Naruto chuckle at her bold claim. As Naruto was making his way, Jiraiya of the Sannin arrived, as he asked Naruto to follow him. Arriving, Jiraiya attacked Naruto out of the blue, as Naruto had to defend himself. Jiraiya had to say the kid was more skilled than he thought. Once he was finished attacking Naruto, he explained that the curse mark fueled itself on anger, and in a heated situation, so he wanted to see if he can force Naruto to awaken it. However, after studying the mark, Jiraiya realized that he could not find any existential source inside. It was almost like it was just a containment of power with no sort of negative effect. So for now, he deemed it safe, but maybe it's not wise for him to use it just as yet, until he did some more checking on it, because he was confused why it happened this way, and why the other curse marks did not react this way. As he told Naruto that he will do some more checks. Once he was done, he went to report to Harrison as Naruto made his way home. The month flew by rather quickly, as everyone was gathered. Sasuke arrived on time, as he didn't want to miss this one bit. As Naruto arrived on the scene as well, as Mito was teasing the both of them that she was gonna dominate the both of them and they stood no chance. As Naruto made a snort comment, making her punch him in the shoulder. It wasn't too long before the Kazekage arrived, and everything commenced, as Shikamaru and Tamaru were the first to go down there. Shikamaru ended up giving up after a while, while his chakra was low, so there was no point of him going on. The next match was Mito, as she was finally ready to show her stuff on what she can actually do, as she was going to be facing Neji. Seeing how cruel he was to Hinata, Mito wanted to put him in his place, and she was going to do that. She was going to put him down by beating the living crap out of him. So with that, the matches came to a start, as Mito turned her gaze towards the Hyuga, who simply looked at her with disdain, as he told her that there was no point. So yeah guys, basically as we left off, you guys can switch across the play, check it for yourself, so we'll see we jump right into this new episode. Begin now guys. Alright, begin! The words left Genma's mouth the moment they did, but neither moved. Both of them just stood there, as Neji, without his Byakugan activated, looked towards her, a nonchalant look on his face, like she wasn't even a threat. However, Mito was gonna prove him wrong. As she watched him carefully, she was not running into things. Yes, she had been taught a lot, not to mention her time with protecting Naruto and Sasuke in the forest. She realized that jumping to something without thinking might not be the bestest opportunity that one should take. So she waited. Seeing this, Neji looked towards her. If you're going to just stand there all day, it's best if you just forfeit right here and now and save yourself some humiliation. Huh. You know, you talk a lot for someone who's always trying to act like they're superior. From what I know, nobles don't talk that much. Well, not that you're one. You're just a jackass with a stick stuck up your ass, she said. Neji's eye twitched in irritation. What? Did I hit a nerve? Didn't you know that you were a self-pompous jackass who think that he's better than everyone else? That is why you laid the beat down on Hinata, because you wanted to make yourself look bigger. Hurting one of the nicest people I know. You're pathetic, said Mito. You know nothing, said Neji. You should not involve yourself with things that don't involve you. Well, I'm making this my business. Hinata is my friend. One of the few people in this world I can actually have a decent conversation with without losing my crap. Because she is nice, sweet, all around a good person, and yet you had to hurt her so badly. Up in the stands, Hinata looked down with a small smile on her face. Her and Mito had been good friends in the academy. As she drew inspiration from Mito even when fighting Neji, Mito was the one that inspired her with her words. And now it made her smile hearing how she was defending her down there. She promised herself that she would get stronger. She would prove to her and everyone else, including her father, that she will get stronger. Back down below, Neji shook his head. I am done having this conversation. You know nothing at all of what you speak. If you did, maybe you would have had some common sense to know when to address and step into certain conversations that does not matter you. And you should know that you should keep your mouth shut instead of running it off. Well, it doesn't matter what you say to me. Nothing can justify what you did to Hinata. You're just a heartless bastard. Nothing can justify it, said Neji. Yeah, nothing can. Neji reached up as he ripped off his headband, showing a mark on his forehead. Do you know what this is? He said in anger. As she looked towards the mark, confused on what he was going on about. This is what shows me to be a caged bird. Up in the stands, Hayashi looked down towards his nephew as he watched him. As Neji started to go on about the cursed mark, Hanabi, who was beside her father, looked towards her father before looking down as she focused on Neji. Hayashi was having a deep internal conflict as he heard the boy spat with venom and hate. He never knew the true reason behind his father taking his place. And now there was so much anger, so much hate. For the memory of Hisashi and for the mental stability of his nephew, he should do something about it. He will do something about it. Down below. So that's it, huh? Said Mito. You blame Hinata for something that was out of her control. She was a child. She could not defend herself. I'm sorry what happened to your father, said Mito. No one should lose someone so precious to them when they're that young, or ever. But that still doesn't excuse you hurting Hinata. You're angry, but you're angry at the wrong person. And that still doesn't change that I'm gonna kick your ass, she said, as she slammed her fist in her palm. Neji tied his headband back over his forehead. Our talking is over, he said. I let my guard down and show you something you should not have seen or even hear from my lips. Allow me to end this match immediately. Neji rushed forward. His Byakugan was still not activated, as he was going to take her out before the match even truly begins. However, Mito just waited for him. The moment he got close as he struck with his hand, Mito replaced herself with a log. As Neji hand struck her with the log, hiding would not make it any difference. You will still lose, Neji said. That is when he felt a rumble. Looking around, he then looked down. His Byakugan activated as the veins pulsed at the side of his eyes. The ground erupted. Over to the left and over to the right, several clones of Mito burst out. Neji jumped as they all threw kunais towards him as he flipped away. He landed on one of their shoulders. Applying force, he dispelled the clone. He then kicked another one in the face before falling. He landed, then he lashed out, dispelling one after another. Up in the contestant booth. Huh, she's really changed a lot, hasn't she? Sasuke said, looking down towards Mito. Usually, she would just run headfirst into something, but she's actually making a better plan. Yes, she has, said Naruto, as he watched the match with a calm look on his face. Naruto then glanced over towards the container of the One Tails, aka Gaara, and watched him carefully. He seemed very unstable. However, his siblings seemed rather worried, but not for him. The one that is known as Conqueror's eyes kept on looking around like something was gonna happen. Naruto's eyes picked up on several people in the stadium. As they looked to be calm, but yet, Naruto's eyes could see it. Raising his hand, Naruto lowered his glasses as he saw how fidgety they were. Something was not right. Naruto glanced up towards Kage's boot. What he saw surprised him. As he focused on the Kazekage, this was not right. The man's body was heavily suppressed. Seals all over him, keeping his body and chakra under wraps. As it even changed everything about his chakra to make it resemble and feel different. Naruto could see it all. That means, whoever this was, it was some kind of imposter. Glancing towards the Hokage, Naruto saw the Hokage chakra was calm but yet alert. He knew. Just from the flaring of his chakra, Naruto could tell that he knew. If that is the case, something was going on. Naruto wanted to say something, but if he did, that might ruin what the Hokage was planning. Because he definitely knew who that was. As Naruto tried to rack his mind wondering who was that, was a Kazekage trying to go against Konoha. That would explain why the siblings are looking around. Something was happening here, and Naruto intended to find out, or at least prepare himself for it. As his eyes glanced down when he heard the explosion, back down below, Neji leaped away from the exploding kunai. 3 more were shot towards him without tags attached to them. As he flipped away, pulling a kunai of his own, Neji blocked all of them. He then looked toward the smoke. Is that all you got? Well, I shouldn't be surprised. What more could I expect from someone like you? I already tell you that this match is going to be ending with your defeat. You should give up now. Save yourself the remaining embarrassment. You talk too much. I've said that before. And I'm gonna shut that trap of yours. As Mito rushed out of the smoke at surprising speeds, Neji braced himself. However, how stupid could she be? Would she really fight a Hyuga head on? Many people in the stands thought the same thing ninja-wise. However, the moment Mito was 5 feet away from him, she stopped, suddenly pulling back as Neji's arms strike out towards her. Neji then noticed something around her waist, a golden chain that had yanked her, stopping his momentum from hitting her. Said chain then lashed out and grabbed his arm. Neji's eyes scanned over the thing as he saw that it was purely made of chakra. So he was just gonna destabilize it with his own chakra as he brought his hand down. But before he could, the chain yanked him, and Mito's fist planted in his face. The chain released him as Neji was thrown. Tenten eyes widened as she watched Neji bounce off the ground and slam near the wall, stopping himself before hitting it completely. Mito leaped upwards. She came down with a spinning Uzumaki axe drop, she yelled as her leg was spinning through the air. Her chain wrapped around it as she was going to knock him straight out. However, Neji rolled away as her feet hit the ground. The second that it took her to recover, Neji lashed out, striking her in the side. He did not stop though as he struck her in the arm. He then struck her once again. However, to his surprise, her body chakra was rising. His eyes went wide. Neji jumped away, but the force blasted him out of the air as Mito exploded. Many people gasped in surprise seeing her blow up like that. Neji dropped on one knee, holding his arm that was bleeding, realizing that it was a clone, a special made one. The Sharingan or Byakugan could not distinguish between Mito clones because she split her chakra equally. A great exploding clone. I learned it not too long ago. I knew that it would catch your eyes off guard. Once again, my smarts are paying off, said Mito. Neji got to his feet. Enough, he said. I will not stand for this. You will not win. Let's see about that, she said as she created 2 clones and went through hand sign. They all took in a deep breath. Wind style. Ear pressure, they said as they released a blast of air from their mouths. Neji jumped up in the air, but as he did, he turned and blocked several kunais from the real Mito, it seems, that was on the wall. He could not tell. 2 others arrived and grabbed her before throwing her forward. Stuck in mid-air, Neji reached his hand and grabbed her wrist before he slammed a hit right in her shoulder as she poofed away. Through the smoke, another Mito came. Neji reached up, but she held her hand out towards his face, already finishing her hand sign. Neji brought his arm forward to block. The wind pressure blasted him all the way to the ground. Before he could hit it though, he turned mid-air. as his arm was grabbed. Too late, said Mito, as another one arrived and grabbed his other arm. The real Mito burst from underneath the ground and slammed a brutal fist in his guts. Despite being able to see it, Neji could not do anything to get out of the attack, being thrown upwards. The remaining Mito, seeing that there was 3 of them that was on the wall, leaped forward. Neji winced in pain as she came down and dropped her heel in his stomach. He was blasted out of the sky as he slammed hard into the ground. Everyone was shocked by the display. Tenten could not believe it. Neji, he was supposed to be the greatest, and yet she watched him just get dominated. Mito panted as her clones dispelled, a smirk on her face. Her plan was proving to be brilliant. She knew that she could not fight someone that was the master of the Jayugen in Taijutsu. He would disable all of her points, and seeing that she mostly was a brawler, she had to think this one through. Neji got back up though, as Mito was aiming to end this. Rushing towards him to deliver the final blow, seeing that he was already winded. But before she could reach though, a dome of chakra stopped her. Neji's eyes snapped up towards her. It's not over yet. Rotation! Mito was blasted away. As she was sent sailing through the air, Neji stopped his rotation and rushed forward. As Neji was about to take her down with the 64 palms. However, before he could even set things up, her eyes snapped down towards him. He was shocked that she recovered so quickly. That is when Chain shot from her back and aimed towards him. Neji rolled away. However, that was his mistake. The chains yanked her down as her heel came down. Boom! His head slammed into the pavement. Neji was sure that he had a concussion or something because everything was dizzy, as he could not even see anything. However, once his vision was able to focus, he saw a kunai pressing right against his jugular. It's over. Neji was shocked, as he could not do anything in this position. The proctor jumped down as Neji saw that it was truly over. You see what I meant? No one defines each other's fate. We make our own fate. And you are wrong. You can make your own fate as well. Being hung up on the past, being angry at Hinata for something that is not even her fault, is a stupid way to live, you fool. As the proctor called the match, the medics came and took Neji away, as he shut his eyes in disappointment. Moments later, Neji heard his door open after the doctors checked on him and bandaged him up. He blinked in surprise. Hayashi-sama. We need to talk, said Hayashi. As for Mito, she was fine, as she was checked upon, but she was fine, her body being healed rather quickly by the chakra inside of her. However, she needed to rest a bit as she went up there and sat down. Naruto and Sasuke both congratulate her on a spectacular win. Everyone was shocked that she defeated the prodigy. Yes, she was strong, but Neji was a prodigy of the Aiga clan, and she wiped the floor with him. She made her promise and she did not let them down with that. The next match was Sasuke versus Kankuro, but Kankuro gave up. Several people booed and threw things in anger, as Kankuro gave up, making Naruto more suspicious. Naruto knew that he was next as they called the next match. On the way down, seeing that Sasuke had to move back, Naruto stopped him and whispered something in his ear. Sasuke looked at him surprised, but he nodded his head. As Sasuke made his way back, "What took you so long?" said Mito. Sasuke motioned for her to come towards him, which she did, as he whispered something to her, out of the other's earshot. Mito's eyes widened. Wait, what? Sasuke gave her a look, for her to calm down, so she did. Mito then glanced towards Gaara, who was making his way down, a malicious grin on his face. Up in the Kage's boot. Well, I must say I'm surprised that your son gave up to fight one of the Uchihas, said Hiruzen. Well, Kankuro knows his limits. He probably realized that it will bring a shame to his name. After all, being known as the one to be defeated at the start of your career is not really a good thing. You have that little faith in him to believe that is the way he thinks, Hiruzen said. I'm sure that he has his reasons, the Kazekage said. Yes, I'm sure he does, Hiruzen said. Well, this match will surely not disappoint though, said the Kazekage. My Gaara is a splendid shinobi. Let's see how he faces against the stronger Uchiha. The stronger, Hiruzen said. I've heard rumors. I want to see if they are real, said the Kazekage. Well, let us see then, Hiruzen said. Down below, as the two boys made their way, Genma glanced towards them as he asked them if they were ready. Naruto nodded as Gaara simply grunted. With that said and done, Genma gave them the begin. As he proceeded to leap away, Gaara stood there. It's time, Uchiha, he said. I've been looking forward to this. Mother wants your blood. Is that so? Said Naruto. A bit creepy, but... Can I ask you a question? A question? And what would that be? Said Gaara. You see no problem in killing me, or anyone else here, if it means furthering your agenda, correct? Gaara looked at him confused. I mean, you see no problem ending anyone's life, if it means you getting stronger or doing what you please, and not being held back. Of course not. I live and fight for myself. That is the way of Gaara. Why should I be held back by anyone else? A sad life. I knew that you've been through a lot. Jinchurikis usually are. Gaara narrowed his eyes. I apologize for what I'm going to do. And what is that? As Naruto's eyes became dark under shades. Gaara was a threat. Danzo had already told him to make an example out of him to show the might of the village. As Naruto was going to beat Gaara down. For another reason though. Gaara had the one tail inside of him. He was unstable. Naruto's mind worked fast as he realized if this was some kind of attack, they would use him as a proxy to take out a large part of the village. And Naruto wouldn't allow that. That is why. As Naruto reached behind him and took the staff from his back and twirled it, he gripped it tightly as his knuckles started to bulge. Gaara shot his hand forward as it split through the sky at blinding speeds, rushing to grab Naruto, but the moment it made contact, Gaara frowned as when he moved it nothing was there. Looking up, Gaara saw Naruto descending from the heavens. How did he get up there that fast? Gaara said nothing more else as his hand shot forward, trying to swat Naruto out of the sky like a fly swatter. However, as Gaara's hand came in contact with Naruto, Naruto gripped his staff and twirled it. The end of his staff became encased in a bubble of water. Upon doing that, Naruto thrust it forward. The water seemed to be at a high point, as it quickly turned Gaara's sand into mud, allowing Naruto to break right through. A frown came on the Jinchurikis's face, as he brought more sand upwards, trying to overwhelm Naruto. However, Naruto did not stop, as his staff then started to release a jet of water, shocking everyone. What the hell is that? Some people start to mutter. How is he using water through the staff? Is that even possible? As a jet of water blasted down towards Gaara, Gaara jumped away though. As he landed, Naruto appeared in front of him. Gaara's eyes widened, in shock. Shocked by the speed as Naruto twirled. Gaara's sand came up as Naruto's staff slammed into it. The sand instantly started to gain soggy features about it as it started to turn more brown and pronounced. Naruto's staff broke through as Gaara pulled his head back. The force would have knocked the crap out of him. Gaara stepped back as he raised his hand. Sand bullets formed and shot towards Naruto. Naruto twirled his staff at a fast rate. To how fast he was twirling it, a water vortex arrived and blocked all the bullets as Naruto stood still from the force that tried to push him back. Once they were done, Naruto shot forward. Gaara raised his hands in frustration as sand shot out of his gourd and rushed towards Naruto like a gigantic wave. Seeing it coming, Naruto brought his hand together. Before he slammed the staff in the ground, he then inhaled. Everyone saw as Naruto then exhaled. Water style, he said under his breath. Water tidal wave. Everyone was alarmed as they watched him spew out a gigantic force of water that slammed into Gaara's sand and actually canceled it out. Gaara's sand slowed down as he was overtaken. Gaara leaped up towards the wall as he stick onto it, frustration in his eyes as he glanced down towards his sand. That was his mistake. Gaara felt something at the side of his face. He felt the pressure and then the force. Gaara felt his head snap towards the side as Naruto heel smashed into it. Gaara was blasted off the wall. He slammed hard, but his hand used as a cushion to protect him from the force. Shocked, Gaara got to his feet as a fist buried in his stomach. Staggered back by the force, Gaara lashed out with his arm, trying to crush what was in sight as the sand waved forward. Bam! He was backhanded as he slammed across the ground. Before he could fully hit though, he was kicked in the sky. Gaara was then knocked from the heavens. The force was knocking him senseless as Naruto was moving at immense speed. Appearing in between Gaara and Naruto gripped his staff. The entire base became covered in earth as Naruto manipulated earth chakra around it, turning it into a gigantic hammer of sorts. When it made contact with Gaara's body, it shattered. Blasting from the heavens, Gaara slammed into the ground. Everyone was alarmed and shocked as they saw Gaara being knocked down. Temari and Kankuro wondering if this was reality. Gaara was on the ground, feeling dizzy, when something was dropping on his hand. Looking down, Gaara saw the red liquid as his head was bleeding. Blood? Blood? Gaara said to himself. He then screamed out to the heavens about his blood. Several of the people started to sweat in fear at hearing that bloodthirsty scream. Rage filled his eyes as Gaara started to accumulate the sand around his body. Uchiha, he said, I will make mother feast upon your blood. How dare you hurt me? You will pay. You'll pay, he yelled in frustration at the situation he found himself in. Despite that though, Naruto stood there, completely undisturbed by him, as Naruto started to gather the chakra into his fingertips. As the chakra around his fingertips started to mold before he slammed his hand into the ground, releasing his jutsu, whispering the name under his breath, earth style. The ground underneath Gaara split open like a trench. Before he could fall though, two fists made of earth shot up and blasted him into the heavens. Gaara's eyes widened as he was struck by the force. Naruto slammed his hand down as a platform was created. Within that platform being created, Naruto ran on top of it before bending. He then shot off, cracking it. Twirling in mid-air, Naruto gathered purple chakra around his arms as it slowly manifested in a large portion. As the attack started to grow, Gaara's eyes widened. That was until Naruto turned. His eyes widened as a force of wind rushed towards him. The attack not being strong enough, Naruto disabled it, as he was gonna flash away just in time. But with the attack taking long, Naruto was hit, blasted out of the heavens and slammed right into the wall. Feathers started to fall all over the area as Temari landed after hitting Naruto away. She rushed to Gaara's side, Kankuro following not too long after, leaping away from the kunai that was thrown towards his head from none other than Sasuke Uchiha. As both Sasuke and Mito leaped out of the box, Temari Kankuro called out. She turned as she swung her fan. Mito extended her chain as it wrapped around Sasuke's waist. She shot another one toward the side as she pulled the both of them out of the way. The attack destroying the area. The both siblings whispered something to their younger brother as they picked him up before they jumped off into the forest. Gaara using his sand to smash open the wall before they made their way out. Several ninjas then started to attack as explosions could be heard. The walls were broken down as snakes started to enter the village. Both Mito and Sasuke rushed over to see what happened to Naruto. As Mito paused as she saw him pulling himself out of the wall. He seemed to be fine, but she had to ask, "Are you alright?" As Naruto rolled his neck, "Yeah, I'm fine. But I figured something like this would happen, but not on this scale," he said as he looked around, seeing the massive snakes overtaking the village. "What's going on?" she said. "Orochimaru," said Naruto. "That snake? What does he want now?" she said. "Well, given his hatred of the village, supposedly bring it down to its knees," Sasuke said. "You're right about that, and he's gonna be the one to do it." As Naruto looked towards a hole in the wall. What do you mean? He's unstable. He's a Jinchuriki. They're gonna use the tail beast inside of him to destroy the village. What? Said Mito. We have to stop him. Exactly, said Naruto. Let's go. As he rushed out, the other two following after him. Up in the stands, Kakashi ducked under a kunai before he knocked the guy senseless as he threw him over the wall. As he dropped right down inside of the stadium, he saw the three kids making their way. As he saw the other Genins turning towards them. Evacuate the civilians to the shelter. Go, quickly, he said. They nodded their heads as they got to work. As he watched, Naruto, Sasuke, and Mito made their way off. I'll leave that one to you, he said to himself as he got to work, taking down the ninjas within the village. Meanwhile, on top of the roof, Hiruzen was stuck inside a barrier. Orochimaru was in front of him. How far have you fallen? Hiruzen said, complete disappointment in his tone. You've just seen the front of it, Sensei. You don't know how far I've actually fallen. But perhaps you will see it during this battle. As Orochimaru licked his lips, this has been a long time waiting. I promised I would have my revenge on this village, and now, I'll bring it to its knees. Yes, you're right about one thing. This has been a long time coming. I failed to stop you all those years ago, but now, in service of my village, I will end you once and for all. Orochimaru chuckled. Well, I would love to see you do that, after I do this. Blurring through hand sign as Hiruzen saw him bring his hand down. Edo Tensei! Two coffins rose, and another one rose. Hiruzen's eyes widened as he saw the third coming up. I can't allow that to happen, he said, as he threw several giant shurikens that he had summoned up. However, the coffin had destabilized, as Orochimaru frowned. Unaware that Minato's soul was currently in the grasp of the Shinigami, and he could not bring it to the forefront without breaking the seal. He had not think about that problem, but he did not care. As the coffin lids fell open, it doesn't matter. You won't be able to survive the onslaught of the first and the second. Hiruzen's eyes widened as they narrowed in rage, going as far as to desecrate sacred life that has passed on from this world. Enough is enough. Hiruzen summoned Enma, as his monkey partner looked over towards him. Ah, I see. So he's reared his head once again. I hope you don't make the same mistake you did all those years ago. No, this time, I will correct my mistake. Meanwhile, as the three kids blur through the trees, Naruto ahead of the group, moving as quickly as they could. It did not take them too long as they came across them. However, Kankuro decided to stay back. Bringing out his puppet, he decided to fire kunas and shurikens after them, stopping them for a moment. Seeing the situation, Sasuke frowned. You guys go ahead, I'll draw his fire. What? Said Mito. I was supposed to fight him in the first place, but this time, I'll fight him to ensure that you guys can go ahead. This is no time for arguing or bringing up anything to say. Just go. You guys can do this, he said to the both of them. He's right, said Naruto looking towards Mito. We have to stop them before they release the one-tailed beast upon the village. Mito nodded her head. Be careful, said Naruto, as Sasuke nodded his head. With that, they sprung up. None of you are going anywhere, as Kankuro sent Crow towards them. However, Sasuke rushed forward as he went through hand sign. Fire style, Phoenix Flower Jutsu. Several fireball was launched from his mouth, forcing Crow to jump back. Sasuke then shot several kunais towards Kankuro, making him jump away, allowing the two time to jump away. Sasuke then aimed a well roundhouse kick towards the side of his head, which he dodged underneath. Your opponent is me, Sasuke said in Sharingan, glaring down at Kankuro. Meanwhile, Naruto and Mito blur through the trees. Something is wrong, said Mito as she sensed their chakra. He's going unstable. It's taking over him. As they heard a scream arriving, they saw Tamaru was knocked away by her own brother. Enough. No more running, Gaara yelled. Ah, Uchiha, I've been waiting for you. You humiliated me back then. This time, I'll rip you to shreds. Half of Gaara's face was covered by the sand, half of his body as well. Mito, said Naruto, watch my back. And be careful with that sand. This guy's dangerous. As Naruto reached upwards and took off his glasses, his eyes glistening and viewing the world full time. You think those eyes make you special, said Gaara, showing them off like they're anything fancy. I'll rip them out of your skull. Mito clenched her fists. Let's see you try that, you bastard. As Naruto rocketed off the branch, Gaara sent his claw arm out towards Naruto. However, Naruto threw the staff. It stabbed right into Gaara's shoulder as Naruto landed on it. Once he was on it, Naruto whipped his foot through the air. It smashed in Gaara's unprotected cheek, knocking him off the branch. With Gaara falling off the branch, a chain grabbed onto his leg, yanking him down so he could not gain his balance. Gaara frowned, but Naruto did not let up as he punched Gaara in the face. Blood and spit flew from the Tanuki's mouth as Naruto allowed Mito to drag him. Mito threw Gaara as Naruto ripped out the staff. Mito then twirled him and launched him back towards Naruto. Naruto encased his staff in wind chakra before he slammed it in Gaara's guts. The force exploded out of Gaara's back. He cried out in pain as he was blasted. He slammed through several trees as Mito released him. Mito landed behind Naruto on the tree, looking down towards him, as Naruto nodded up towards her. That is when the trees were ripped off the ground. As Gaara used sand to make gigantic arms and launch them towards the group. Seeing it coming, Naruto twirled his staff before he brought it down as he split them in two, with the wind chakra as they fell to the side. Gaara shot forward. His whole body was now covered except for his feet, its claws ready to dig in Naruto's face. However, Naruto was yanked up by Mito chains. Fully trusting her, Naruto simply allowed his hand to gather an insane amount of chakra as he allowed his posture to be straightened up in mid-air. Naruto then drive his fist downwards. It made contact with Gaara's skull. His eyes were completely unseeable as he was knocked literally senseless. His body slammed into the ground, the sand protecting him, but Naruto was not done. He blurred through hand signs. Collaboration, he said. Mito quickly, as she blurred through hand sign as well. Wind style, fire style. The both of them combined their jutsu as a massive inferno slammed on Gaara. His screech of pain could be heard all the way throughout the forest. Both of them jump away as the blue flames writhed in agony and burn. This was normal blue flames that Naruto released from his mouth, not his blue flames that he could release from his eyes, that he did not know what the purpose of them was just yet, seeing that they did not burn anything. As Naruto's flames were still a bit orange, but the blueness had taken over somewhat, and they were starting to shift to a bit purple, as it seems that they were getting stronger. However, before they could relish in their victory, Gaara's sand exploded outwards out in the flames. Their eyes widened as a shadow overtook them. The gigantic beast stood tall. Holy shit, said Mito. As Naruto's thoughts were similar, the burned body of Gaara that was slowly recovering screamed out in agony. As he brought his hand together, he then fell asleep. The eyes of the Tanuki opened up. The place shook as the thing roared out in happiness. I am free, he yelled. A gleeful look on his face, his eyes then looked towards the gigantic village of people. Destruction, that was what was on his mind at the moment, as he started to move towards the village. I have an idea. As Naruto turned towards Mito, brace yourself. She went through hand sign. Summoning jutsu. She slammed her hand down. Poof. Hey, what's up, Mito? The voice of Gamikichi said. Gamikichi? What the hell are you doing here? You summoned me, he said, hopping onto her head. Naruto looked towards Mito with a sweat drop. I guess I used a bit too little chakra, she said. As she started to flare her chakra up, garnering the attention of the Tanuki. He saw them as he raised his tail and brought it down. Naruto's eyes went wide as a massive tail came down. Naruto grabbed Mito's left arm as he twirled and threw her. Her eyes widened as Naruto threw her out of the way. And then boom! The tail slammed down on Naruto. Mito's eyes went wide in shock as she recovered. Naruto, she screamed out. That is when Sasuke arrived. Looking no worse for wear, a few scratches but nothing too bad. Conqueror stood no chance against him, in the state that Sasuke was at the moment. He did not kill him though. He had just shocked him with lightning and Conqueror had passed down. Sasuke did not waste time to get away from the location. What happened? Where's Naruto? as Sasuke saw tears in her eyes. Looking towards him, she did not know how to say it, as she looked toward the tail that slowly started to shift. Before it broke into sand, Shikaku spun his head around as he looked down. "What is this?" he said. Mito's eyes went wide as she saw the sand start to give way, as she felt a chakra spike. "He's alright," she said in shock. Sasuke watched as Naruto rose up, as he looked towards the beast in front of him. Shikaku looked towards his tail that was now, well, it had broken apart. "What have you done? What did you do to me?" he said, as he felt a portion of his chakra had dipped. Naruto glanced up towards him, his eyes glistening, as he felt the power surge through his eyes. As he could see it, he could see the chakra inside of him, and he knew the purpose. Incinerate. Upon saying that, blue flames caught onto Shikaku. Shikaku screamed and roared, as Sasuke quickly watched as Naruto jump back. The beast started to destroy everything as it roared out in agony. "What did you do?" "Those flames. It's not tend to burn flesh. It's tend to burn chakra," said Naruto, seeing that this beast is purely made of chakra. "That means," said Mito as she looked up toward Shikaku, who was roaring out in agony, as Naruto was already panting. "It took that much out of you?" Sasuke said in shock, knowing that Naruto used less chakra for his techniques. "When his tail hit me, I absorbed the chakra out of it. I felt the connection and simply pulled on it. I used that same chakra, and more of mine, to set him ablaze. The first time I tried using those blue flames, it barely took anything out of me. I guess use it on this scale, it's a lot more than my body's ready for at the moment," said Naruto as he looked up towards the giant beast that was roaring out in pain. Shikaku thrust around and slammed around, as his body was slowly burning apart and breaking apart. He roared in agony as he tried to destroy everything. However, he could not sustain his form any longer, as Naruto burned him. Seeing that Shikaku was still a part of the seal, the flames were more bad on him because he had somewhere to return back to. If he was out in the real world, maybe he could have lasted longer, but in this state, the flames burned away and ate away at his skin, allowing his body to break apart until it became so weak that Gaara consciousness was brought back to reality. Naruto quickly sent a chakra thread towards his staff. He then hooked it and brought it towards him. He gripped the staff and threw it. It pierced right through Gaara's shirt and slammed right into a tree, as Gaara was stuck there. After the recent transformation, his body was gravely weakened. As he tried to get free, Naruto appeared in front of him. Gaara looked up with a frightened expression on his face, as chains came from beside Naruto, as they wrapped around him tightly, as Naruto chopped him in the back of the neck. As Mito used her chains to hold Gaara in the air. "He is more important alive to the village," said Naruto, as he looked toward the two. "So are his siblings. Move." The three of them jumped away, as a gust of wind slammed into the ground. Temari, arriving on the scene, after being badly thrown into a tree, she had lost consciousness. But she was now back on her feet, seeing that Gaara was restrained, and the three of them were huddled up like that. However, only two of them landed. She was knocked in the back of the head, as Sasuke caught her before she could hit the ground face first. "Come on," he said. "I know where the other one is." With that, the three of them made their way back towards the village, dealing with a rather dangerous threat like it was almost nothing. Arriving back towards said village, it did not take them very long to realize things were winding down. The ninjas had fled, for reasons unknown to them. That is when they saw Kakashi coming down towards them. "Sensei," said Mito, "you seem like you've held up well. I should be asking you guys that. You subdued them, all. Are you that surprised?" said Mito. "I mean, we are awesome." "More like proud," said Kakashi. "They're running away," said Naruto, as he could see the chakra signatures. His eyes on full display, he had not placed on his glasses yet. "I take it that you were the one that set him ablaze in that state." As Naruto nodded, as the whole village had saw the gigantic beast being set ablaze and hearing his screams. However, it was someone on their side, which was a victory to them. "What should we do with them?" said Mito. As Naruto glanced up towards the roof, where he saw several shinobis gather, his eyes widened in surprise. "What's wrong?" said Mito. Naruto turned towards her. "It's the Hokage." Time skip. A week has passed since the attack on Konoha. A week. A lot has happened in said week. For one thing, the Sand siblings had been placed in Konoha jail cells, under strict watch of Anbu. Gaara being placed with several suppression seals, so he would not be able to go full Tanuki form again. Temari and Kankuro were rather upset about this, trying to justify the fact that they were tricked by Orochimaru. However, Konoha was not in the state of releasing them just yet. Not to mention the Sand was still in shambles, at the loss of a lot of their ninjas and their whole leadership being thrown out of whack. And Konoha was without a leader at the moment, seeing that their Hokage died. So at the moment they were having some difficulties with the sending back of their ninjas. However, one Mito Uzumaki had taken it to get a visitation pass to see Gaara. She was one of the few that took him down. Her being accompanied by the two Uchiha boys had a bit more sway in their decision to let her speak to him. This would seem uncommon, given that they, were the ones that defeated him, but she wanted to talk to him. As Mito kinda felt sorry for him. At the loss of Hiruzen Sarutobi, someone that she saw as a grandfather, it got several of her emotions to come out. In fact, for days straight she did not even talk, or was herself one bit. But Naruto and Sasuke were there by her side, trying to make her feel better, the both of them knowing that it was just time to be quiet for them as well, so they could allow her to grieve, which she did. She cried a lot. However, brought up other emotions, other feelings. Knowing that Gaara was just like her, he must have had a hard time. But by the way that she had witnessed things that she wasn't paying attention to before, but now that her mind was emotional, she was able to see things that she had not noticed with how broken he was. At first, Gaara did not talk to her one bit. He actually told them to leave as he did not want anything to do with them. He felt humiliated, defeated by 3 kids. He was supposed to be a weapon of destruction and yet he was taken down. As for that part, several shinobis were shocked by the strength that these kids possess. There was no doubt a promotion was in their future. However, the moment the council could not pull such things until Hokage was selected. It took at least 3 days for Gaara to start to talk to Mito. As he asked her one single question, how was she and her friend so strong? She told him why. It gave Gaara a shocking outlook on his own life, because he'd said it before, he only fought for himself. This morning though, Mito had left, as she told Naruto that she was leaving with a perfect sage to do a mission. As Naruto asked what kind of mission, but he did not tell her, as she said that she would probably be back soon though, or it would probably take a while. But she was with Jiraiya of the Sanin, so everything would be fine. As Naruto told her to watch herself, the man was a pervert. She promised that she would castrate him if he ever tried anything. At the moment, Naruto sat on top of the monument, as he felt confidence in his strength. He was actually able to go toe-to-toe with the tail beasts, despite not actually fighting it that much. His eyes now have a splendid ability to burn chakra. He wondered what would that do to a human body if he set it on someone. He was not sure. However, he still had to understand the technique. He used it in a state where he was not supposed to, and it caused a malfunction in his own chakra. He had never expended so much chakra in his life before, seeing that his techniques require so small amount, as he was confused by that. However, he figured he would just have to practice, same for his purple chakra. He was not in full control of that yet, but he was able to use it at a small level, which showed that he was improving. He felt great, knowing that soon enough he would be able to take down that traitor that took everything away from him. He had been visited by Danzo, the lackey, not too long ago, as he had went to see the man in purpose. The man applauded him for his protection of the village and the skills that he showed, and the ruthlessness that he showed them in to take down Gaara when he believed that he was a threat. And right now the Sand owed them because of them, because they had their weapon. Naruto agreed with the man's philosophy, seeing that the Sand had been so easily tricked, but they were willing to go against Konoha in the first place to show that your morals are easily swayed. Danzo truly admired Naruto's view on everything now. And Hiruzen was dead. That was another person that was, well, a problem to him. Now, for the other one, Itachi. Naruto was snapped out of his musings as he heard Sasuke behind him as he turned to see him. Something is wrong, Sasuke said. Huh? What's wrong? I met up with Kakashi earlier, and he was acting rather strange. He was early. He was, said Naruto. Yeah. Well, that's not that strange. Well, it is, but... What else, said Naruto. No, I heard that he's in the hospital. Hospital? Why? Well, that's where I'm going. They made their way as they arrived towards the hospital room that the nurse told them. As a lot of people started to show more admire towards them because of the recent defeats, even Mito was starting to get a better outlook by the people, seeing that she had successfully saved their village from a beast that tried to destroy it this time around. Arriving at said hospital, Naruto saw someone rush past them with glasses. He was also a jonin of the village. He opened the door. Is it true that Itachi Uchiha is back to the village, and he's looking for Mito? Uzumaki? Both Naruto and Sasuke's eyes widened as he heard that. The ninja turned as he saw them, realizing who was there. What is it? A voice said. It was my guy, seeing the look on his face. Both boys rocketed off in blinded speed. As Guy stepped out, what's wrong? They were here. Who was? Guy asked. Meanwhile, Mito was looking towards a person that she hates. Perfect Sage had taken her out of the village as she had asked him what they were going to do. He informed her that they were going to get the next Hokage. Upon telling her that, he also told her that he was going to teach her a new jutsu. As she quickly approved of that, that was what she wanted. So with that, she started to learn a strange method of learning a jutsu that was popping a water ball. As they had made their way, they had stopped by a hotel for him to gather information. However, she saw a girl winking at him. She figured that was what he was after. Damn pervert. So she spent the time in the room working on the next step, getting there pretty quickly. Her chakra control exercises from Naruto had shown really a lot in this endeavor. So with that, she had been in her room until she heard knocking, wishing that she had at least tell Naruto and Sasuke to tag along so she could have some friends with her. That is when she picked up on a chakra signature that was similar to Naruto's and Sasuke. However, there was another one that was so massive. Opening the door, she came face to face with him, the one that took everything away from them. It's you, Itachi Uchiha, she said as she stepped outside. Did you just say you want me to come with you? Itachi nodded his head. Huh. So this little brat is her, huh? Don't look like much to me. And who the hell are you, fish face? What did you just call me? Said Kisame, looking down towards her. You heard me, fish face. No, you're not important right now. You. How dare you show your face to me? You're the one that started it. You're the one that took everything away from them. What is she talking about, Itachi? So, you're friends with them, are you? Yeah, they're my best friends. And for them, I'll make you pay. Do you really think it's wise to fight someone like me if you know who I am, Itachi said. I don't care. I'll capture you and bring you back to the village. And they will decide if you live or die. And trust me, your sentence will be death. Is that so? Do you think you can make my death a reality? Well, we'll just have to see about that. Chains start to escape from her back. Well, that's interesting, said Kisame. Those chains, as he raised the eyebrow towards them. Samehata started to warm around. Seems like Samehata has taken a special interest in her chakra. Let us give Samehata a taste, shall we? Before anything could start though, killer intent, so vile, spread through the area. Two of them, but one of them was much more vile. As Kisame turned his gaze as he saw two individuals standing there. They seemed like they ran here given the sweat. Ran here at an extremely fast pace. As the one to the left was holding something in his hand. It was glasses, but he seemed to be applying a bit too much pressure as they snapped in his hand. Whoa, seems like someone is angry, Kisame said, finding this scene rather amusing. As he glanced towards Itachi, they look just like you. Who are these? They're my little brothers, said Itachi. As he turned towards them, Itachi focused on his two younger brothers, as he saw nothing but hate. The glasses was released from Naruto's hand, as the parts fell to the ground. You're here, said Mito, looking towards the two of them. But they were not focused on that right now. All of their attention was focused on Itachi. Itachi, said Naruto. After all these years, you finally decide to show your face. Yes, I have. And I see that you two have been looking forward to this. Us meeting face to face again. I wonder, have you two actually grown, or are you still as pathetic as before? We spend our life training, pushing ourselves to the absolute limit, Sasuke said. So the day we see your face again, both Naruto and Sasuke shouted, we would end you. Itachi looked towards them, finding their statement amusing, like he was mocking them. Is that so? Well then, you care to make that dream into reality? Oh, trust me, you bastard. This is no dream. This is a promise, said Naruto as both him and Sasuke shot forward. But guys, me and subscribe right here. If you want to see the next part I do, like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn on that bell notification to stay posted. But I'm off now, see you guys soon. Peace.